gather. What is the gather? Getting the audience close to the counter. It's just that simple. You are gathering them to set. We used to call it setting. But the term we're using is gather.
Much friendlier term than set.
Yeah, I like that too.
Okay? Yeah. Gather them up. Now let me ask you a question. If this is the counter, is this gathered?
No.
Why?
Because
I'm
It's like a huddle. Yeah.
Okay? You have to get their bellies to the bar, their balls on the counter. You have to get them so close that this is where they are. They want to be hugging it with their thighs. That's how close to the counter they have to be. So when you're training this, how many trainees gather properly on their first round through?
0.
And then do they do like super well in their first show usually?
No.
And then do they want to like go and cry in a corner?
Yeah.
So here's the one thing that you can tell them that makes them feel super special and really starts to solidify them gathering properly. When they finish that first show and you know none of them was gathered, and you said, well, and they do like a low turn, and let's say they do 3, and they're like, I only told 3, and there was 15 people. I didn't see 15 people there.
Right.
What do you mean you didn't? There were 15 of them.
There were 3 people
No,
on the
you
table.
sold 3 of them to nobody. What? Well, nobody was gathered properly. So if they're not like this, I don't count them as part of your show. If they're not up like this, I'm not going to count them for you. So good job. You sold 3 to no one. And they're like, okay. Like, you see where I'm getting at, though?
That's actually, yeah, when I'm having trouble, I'm sorry.
And go on.
What you said about them not being part of your show, like, if people, when I'm gathering people, if I've tried a couple times and they haven't come in, I'll just flat out say to the person back, anybody back there, you're not a part of this. People over here are getting the free thing. And then they come right up.
Yes. Yes, so this is good, Leo, because let's talk about what we're doing when we gather. Because let's be honest, there's the trainees that don't gather properly because they don't know how to gather.
Yeah.
And then there's the trainers, that don't gather because they're lazy. Or they're like, I ain't fine with these people. I'm not going to deal with this. You know, they're close enough. I know how to work this crowd. I know how to work these people. Or they make store excuses. Oh, this store profile, they just don't gather, Peter. I'm like, oh, okay, I'll show you how much they don't gather. And I can't tell you how many stores I've worked in. Oh, this Pathmark, they don't gather. Your team, the Philadelphia Whiners, they don't gather in this one. Oh, they don't? Okay, hold on. I'll show you. Okay? And it has to get to the point where you just don't move forward until they gather. You do this thing. Allison actually taught her trainee this move.
What did I do?
She taught her new trainee, Kevin. Wait till you see it. It's hysterical. She goes, I don't want you to go around to the back of the counter until you feel them behind you, like near your butt. So her trainee will now go, just squeeze on into the front of the counter like this, please. Just like this. Just like this, guys. Yep, squeeze in as tight as you can. That's perfect. Yes, thank you. That's good. That's good. And then he curls around when he feels people behind him. He doesn't look at them, but he just hugs the counter like a baby until somebody gets close to him. But that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about giving people tools where gathering is it's non-negotiable. There are 7 things in this show that are non-negotiable. Non-negotiable. We're going over them right now. That's to give you a hint. Okay, you can do a lot. It's an organic form. It's an art form. You know, every show is not the same. Every tip is not the same. Every store is certainly not the same. But no matter what's happening in any store, in any tip, in any show, there are 7 things that are non-negotiable. And you need to believe that yourselves, and you need to instill that in your trainees. Because your trainees can't keep track of all the hundreds of little idiosyncrasies that we can keep track of in a show. Because you've been doing it how many years, Tondi?
8.
Yeah.
7.
Smith?
5.
How long have you been hustling, Kurt? Not necessarily pitching, but how long have you been hustling?
Oh, many years, my friend.
Yeah. What about you, Alvin?
Since 98.
Since 98. He's got us all beat. Mr. Alvin is rocking 16 years of this.
Bam.
Dude, I got like 30. What's up?
He's rocking 30 years of this. That's what I'm talking about. I like going into stores like the Bronx and Brooklyn, and I like having fellas at the end be like, look, I didn't buy nothing. I appreciate that hustle. Respect. I respect the hustle. You gotta respect the hustle.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing here.
I want to give you a little fist bump.
Yeah. Yeah, respect the fact that we've been doing this so long, that we have so many little things going on at once, that we can keep track of so much and pay attention to so much, that these trainees are like, I don't know, they go on overload if you try to teach it all to them.
Yeah.
But if they can just say, if you can just say, oh, you need to take on 7 things.
Yeah.
You know those 7 things, you're gonna do good. And then when they don't do good, you say, okay, which one of the 7 things did we miss? Come on, you can tell. Which one was it? How many people did you have? You only had that one old lady that touched the counter for you, huh? Yeah, I know. It's okay, we'll get there. Okay? Because out of everybody in this company, the most childlike profile is the trainee. Like, it's like an infant. Like, I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to do that. I need food. Can I have $25 a day? I'm late to work. My car broke down. It's like taking care of an infant child for 3 weeks.
It is.
Until they're old enough to freaking walk. And even then you're like, I fell down. Oh, okay, I'm coming to the store. Hold on. Right here. Am I right?
Yeah.
So just focus on these 7 things, and you know in your heart of hearts, and I know in my heart of hearts, that your trainees are going to be better for it. And that you know that the 7 things that are most important, at least they got that down. They'll figure out the rest. You can't do this job without experience.
Right.
Period. The only reason that people are in this room right now is because of experience. Judy, how many years of experience you got with the hustle?
21.
Yeah, you darn right you do.
Judy.
Okay? You see what I'm getting at here? Sorry for that tangent. I just was really passionate. I need to get off my chest. Okay. Get out of here. All right. So here's the thing. The gather. There are a couple parts here. The first part is giving them reasons why. Because if you don't give them reasons why, you're going to look like that person that's like, we're going to hand out free gifts. There's candy in the box. I'm like in the van. Like, no. Okay? You got to give them reasons before you make them move.
Yep.
All right? And what I have is, about 3 logical reasons is a good thing. For example, there's a lot of stuff to hand out. There's not a lot of time. Everything's at the counter. Doesn't need to be a whole spiel. It doesn't need to be the same thing every time depending on the store. Remember, this is organic. It doesn't need to be, do you know your 5 reasons? 1! 2! No, we don't need to do that anymore.
Yay!
Okay? But you need to teach the
Go
concept.
faster.
You need to teach the concept. You need to give those 5 reasons that we all know verbatim, plus a couple others, and say at least 3 of these 8 need to be hit before you ask somebody to move. Period. And then part 2 is once you've established the logical argument by giving those logical reasons, you're going to ask them to take action. The next step is movement. So let's go to the counter. And then part 3 is once you feel the people getting close, you can go around to the front of your booth and do this move. I put my butt right on the back of the table, or if you're working the 3-table setup, step off of your chef's mat. So like give yourself about a car or two's length in front of you.
Right.
Go, if I can't reach you, I can't give you anything. Sorry. So you can all squeeze on into the front of the counter. You just look your head down, go like this, and kind of pat them like this, and everyone will start to come in. Okay. So there are all different ways to do it. The bottom line here is the section's going to be different for every show. Because you're going to have shopping carts, you're going to have this and that and the other, you're going to have people in the rascals.
How long did this take?
Yeah, you're going to have that nonsense. How long do you want it to take? Okay. How long do you want it to take?
3 hours.
Perfect. That's
I
exactly
always,
how
I
long it
always
takes.
say, just so we're not blocking the aisles and I don't get yelled at by managers, need y'all guys to move on in here. Make it us.
So you guys are echoing a lot of great things, and this is all wonderful stuff, but it's also proving my point that this is an organic process.
Yeah.
We're all going to do it differently, which is why we need to teach the concepts. The concepts are the same, and there's a lot of good examples in this book that you'll be able to read through, and then just understand that, like, I'm not saying this is exactly what you will say and exactly what 3 concepts you will do. But what I'm saying is, if we go to a market and a trainee isn't given 3 or 4 logical reasons before they start moving people, that's a red check for me.
Yeah.
See where I'm getting at? If they're starting a show before people are close to the counter, that's a red check for me. I don't care what you teach. I'll play the hand game with them.
Yeah.
I'll be like, okay, clearly we have to play the hand game. If your hand reaches my hand, I'll just close my hands like this. I'm going to give you a gift. And then I feel a hand and I grab their hand and pull them a little closer. Grab their hand, pull them. You're getting a gift, you're getting a gift, you're getting a gift. Sir, you're not getting a gift. Have a great day. You're getting a gift. Yep, you're getting one. This is good. The other hand game is the one that Chad plays. Chad just puts his hand on the counter and goes, everybody who wants a gift, put your hand on the counter, because I got to count. And everyone goes, I got to count. Throws all their hands on the counter and he counts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
I need your belly
Yeah,
touching yours.
I got enough free gifts. Thanks, guys. That's good. But the point here is we could go on all day long about all the little tips and tricks and things that we have. Again, because we're profesh. But at the end of the day, what you need to be teaching is that you don't start this until the people are gathered. You do not say, how's everybody doing today? Who's familiar with Williams-Sonoma? Until you have bellies to the bar and balls on the table. So look, I'm just going to give you a couple tech points here so you can write them down just to kind of, there's a bunch of them here, I'm only going to do a couple of them. Never look directly at people when moving them. Pretend you're playing red light, green light. Okay? Nintendo Ghosts, that's right. Always get the carts to the side and move babies, wheelchairs, or anything else that takes up space.
Yes.
I've seen 1 or maybe 2 of even the PDMs that are for New York do a show where there's a freaking cart or a rascal on the whole left side, and you've only got 2 sides of your tip. And I'm like, insert name here. Yeah, I get very Oscar the Grouch about it. Okay. And of course, use big gestures when instructing where to go. We're not trying to hide anything here. Ethan, you've had your hand up for so long, your muscle must be getting tired.
I just put it back up. This is completely separate. I just wanted to bring up the one thing that has helped in a lot of markets is, yeah, these are great tech points, but if you're not evaluating this as you're approaching, if you just don't even think about it until you're right in the middle of it, it's not even worth it. You should be evaluating the entire time you're approaching to the tip. And I just think that a lot of people take these tips that you're giving out, which are great tips, but you don't think about it until it's too late. You know, if you have a line, for instance, and then you get all the way up to your booth, and then you're like, okay, I start now. And
You
then
didn't
start
grade up the
evaluating
line.
things, you're too late.
It's called ready, aim, fire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Assess all the information
Right.
in front of you.
Okay. So let's talk about why it works real quick. It works because the closer an audience is to us, the more engaged they will be. People gathered as a group work under a mob mentality, and they're much easier to control. If you let them stand as individuals, they'll be individuals. If you get them together as a group, they will act as a group. More importantly, it's a group that you've separated from the store.
It's cool, brother.
That's a lot of chips.
It's cool, brother.
Okay?